Let's head over to the Middle East conflict now, where the violence is spreading well beyond Israel and Gaza, with Pakistan and Iran now trading blows, and the head of Israel's military admitting the likelihood of a war along the country's northern border with Lebanon is now much higher than in recent times. Meanwhile, Israel is continuing its push into Gaza. Qatar has brokered a deal with Israel and Hamas to allow medical supplies in, and all sorts of chaos is breaking out between Pakistan and Iran. Now, to break it all down and what it means for the presidential election, Hudson Institute senior fellow Michael Doran joins me now for all the latest. Michael, you've just spent the past 10 days in Israel speaking to people. What's the sentiment on the ground there, first of all?
Well, it's thanks for having me here, James. It's great to be back. In Israel, I found the country in an unprecedented situation. There's on the level of the people, there's been a kind of unification of everyone behind the war effort, but the elite remain divided, and it's creating all kinds of kind of paradoxes. On the one hand, you see Prime Minister Netanyahu is at the lowest level. He's polling lower than ever before. But the population has also moved significantly to the right. It's moved to the right, and it's unified. The immediate benefactor of this movement of unification is Benny Gantz, Netanyahu's rival, who's together with him in the national unity government for the moment, but he's polling very, very high because he represents that sense of unity that people have. But yet he's out of sync with the move to the right. So you have Netanyahu looking bad if there's an election, Gantz looking good, but Gantz out of sync with the population's move to the right, which means that they no longer accept the idea of a two-state solution, which, of course, the Biden administration is pushing very hard on the government. The result of this is probably going to be at some point a clash between Netanyahu and the Biden administration, possibly even leading to early elections, which would benefit Gantz. That's the kind of what's happening on the political level. I can go on and tell you about the military affairs if you'd like.
Well, what I actually wanted to ask about, Michael, too, is the broader strategic context, because since we've last spoken, we've seen this whole conflict erupting in the Red Sea, the Houthis firing on ships. They're backed by Iran. The U.S. has this whole sort of weird relationship with Iran, where the Biden administration has been continuing the Obama policy of trying to bring them in, empower them, give them money, and then now not ratcheting up the conflict and the response to the Houthis and to Iranian provocation. So I really wanted to get your thoughts on where the strategic next steps are for the U.S. And is the U.S. getting drawn into a wider conflict with Iran, whether or not the Biden administration wants it or not?
Well, absolutely. This is a wider conflict with Iran. They have defined it, the Biden administration has defined it as a war in Gaza. That is objectively not what it is, because Hezbollah is attacking Israel. Hezbollah, the major ally proxy of Iran in Lebanon, is attacking Israel. Proxies of Iran from Iraq and Syria are attacking American bases. And, of course, we have the Houthis that you mentioned. The Houthis started attacking international shipping in mid-November. The U.S. only responded together with the British in mid-December. We're now in mid-January. The Houthis are still shooting missiles. They are not deterred. I mean, the important thing to realize here is that the Houthis achieve the effect that they want to achieve, that is a drastic reduction in shipping through the Red Sea and through the Suez Canal, whether they hit anything or not. I mean, if two guys go into a restaurant and start shooting guns at each other, even if they don't hit any of the diners, the restaurant clears out. The business is killed because people are shooting in the business. So the United States has failed to deter the Houthis, and international shipping companies are voting with their feet and moving everything around the Cape of Good Hope. So this policy has failed so far.
So basically, then, what I'm wondering is the Biden administration strategically unable to cope with what is essentially asymmetric warfare? I mean, they could clear the Houthis out tomorrow if they wanted to and be really brutal about it, but there doesn't seem to be any stomach for that sort of thing. They warned the Houthis that they were going to shoot at them the other day, which seems to me like in the Middle East that would be received as an incredible message of weakness. How does the Biden administration get out of this cycle, or is this going to wind up playing into the hands of somebody like Trump, who comes and says, we're not going to play these games anymore, and is going to be able to play on a much more sort of robust, shall we say, playing field?
Well, a lot can happen between now and the election, and when I say a lot can happen, I mean not that I'm imagining that the United States will escalate, but that the United States can make a lot more concessions to Iran. It's really you hit the nail on the head when you say that they have telegraphed their punches, and they have hit targets. The Americans in Yemen have hit targets that are of secondary or tertiary importance and value to the Houthis. They haven't hit leadership. They haven't hit, this is the key factor, any IRGC officials, any of the Iranian advisors who are there, playing a very important role in training, equipping, and advising the Houthis about their attacks in the Red Sea, and in giving them political cover, but also intelligence about how to carry out these attacks. The Biden administration is very proud of its Iran engagement strategy. It will not do any, it is shown time and time again that it is not willing to do anything to imperil it. It's going to take more, apparently, than just shutting down the shipping through the Suez Canal to make them actually try to deter Iran. I think what we're going to be seeing is more pressure on Israel to end the conflict in Gaza. That'll be the way, that would be the administration's preferred way to avoid conflict with Iran.
Michael Doran, the Biden administration wants to be pals with the mullahs and put pressure on Iran. That's just an utterly incredible situation the United States finds us in right now. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to discuss this more in the weeks and months to come. Really appreciate it.